The Celtics, home and away in these playoffs, 9-0 at home, 1-5 on the road now, and look at the disparity in those numbers. I mean, a lot of times when you're watching the Celtics on the road, it's like watching a team that looks like they're a first-round knockout.
Young. Yeah, they look like they're young.
But at home, it's unbelievable.
I know y'all want to talk about the Celtics. I want to talk about the Cavaliers.
Okay. Well, you can start there.
Does somebody want to talk about the Celtics?
Yes. When you're 9-0, playing well at home, you have the home court advantage. That's why it's called home court advantage. You don't really have to win on the road. I won many series like that where we never won a game in a row, but we stayed dominant at home. So as long as they keep being undefeated at home, they can move on to the next round.
And if they do get to the finals, they will not have home court advantage.
Yeah, then they would lose. So
they have to win on the road.
But I think overall, it's just the overall youth. That's the youth. You know, because there are different dynamics that
making
are
excuses.
There's different dynamics playing on the road.
That's a fact, Shaq.
There's a different dynamic.
I understand what you're saying, but they don't want to hear that.
As simple as big
they
a
don't
strategy.
want to hear that because they said that many times.
No, but I'm saying,
I'm
just saying, as big a strategy.
Just tell them to Google you.
Google me.
But I thought it was going to be. You're right, Greg.
No, you're right.
Remember that?
Right,
okay.
Right. But no,
that's what we would say
to get him to stop.
You're right, Greg.
You're right, Shaq.
But just saying, don't make excuses.
No, it's not an excuse.
It's
the dynamic of. One, strategy changes for a young team on the road, but also it's simple.
They're losing because they're young. That's what you're saying right now.
Oh, without question.
No. He's not saying
on the road. Yeah.
Stop it.
Wait,
cut it out.
You don't think experience changes the game? Your experience, you were honestly, the Shaq that Akeem and I talked about this one.
But don't
wait. Let me say this. When we played you guys,
those guys.
Let me finish what Akeem said. We talked about this numerous times. The Shaq that we saw with the Lakers, we saw you, and we're sitting and we're talking about it, and we said, oh, we could have never beat that Shaq. That Shaq understands how to win. It's just a different experience that you had. You were so much more focused and locked in on the road as well as home.
You're a better
as
player.
a Laker. You were a better player.
Shut up.
Hey, listen,
it's true.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
All right. Well, let me talk to me about the Cavs, man.
My one criticism of Ty Lue is he doesn't give those bench players confidence. I said he had to play Clarkson, George Hill, Nance, Jeff Green, because they're more athletic players. I said that after game one. But he does a bad job, in my opinion, empowering those guys.
You don't think he did it, but he did it this game.
It's about time.
Well, I mean, you just don't run to it.
Yes, you do. He could have been doing it. Kenny, we talk about it all the time. We talk about Brad Stevens empowers guys. Ty Lue, guys don't know when they're going to get to play. He goes games at a time when he doesn't play certain guys.
And this is I'm going to ask you this question. This is another I'm going to ask you this. When you have a team that changes that dynamically in the middle of the season, how can you trust Rodney Hood or Clarkson when they've never been in those positions?
When you put them in, they don't perform.
Like, how can that's what I'm asking. It's a question.
You can't just yank guys out every time they make a mistake. You saw what he said. Ty Lue said it. There was times where the Celtics scored, and within 5 seconds they had scored. Instead of walking about, then Larry Nance said it. Well, we don't just walk the ball up and down the court and give it to LeBron. Tyronn Lue has to give those young guys power. Listen, Rodney Hood can play. Clarkson can play. George Hill can play. Larry Nance can play. But the coach has to empower you and say, hey, if you're open, shoot it. If you're open, shoot it. Then if it don't work, we'll give it to LeBron. That was the first game that I saw Ty Lue empower those guys, say, hey, you miss a couple shots.
Maybe he's just not 24 hours smarter than you. Yeah. You're 24 hours smarter than him.
I'm just letting it know, bro. I know my basketball.